Don't I use white? Matthew, are you the red mic? Purpose tuning. Huh? I can't stand where I'm supposed to. That won't help. That's all. That one also doesn't go over there. No, that one.
I'm not.
It's just leave it.
You're blue. Yes, you're blue because your dad's a police officer.
You don't know.
They give me a different one every
Logic.
time, I swear.
No, they don't.
But they do.
Everybody else has the
What did you?
No, except for me.
Sometimes
That's
it's
not
orange.
possible.
Sometimes it's that one. Sometimes it's friggin'
I'm pretty sure
nothing.
this is blue. And what
I
is
don't
it?
know. I want that for my parents. I got some fancy minis. Huh? They're official because they can't stand them.
I thought.
The Sharks made it home fine. The Shepherds made it home fine. I never left.
Everybody's going to want to jump up here, so I'm going to do what I can. Twist it like this. Okay. First off, I want to thank Oak Crest Baptist Church for letting me attend your camp meeting. I enjoyed myself. I didn't do a thing. I did have his gravy and his biscuit ready every morning. I forgot about that. Woo. Oh, can I get my finger? Anyway, I want to thank the Lord. This is the least I have ever done. And wow, is just part of it's you feel guilty, but then you're supposed to be with this, what you're supposed to be doing. But it's also beautiful watching everything working around you. Everywhere you go, somebody's doing something. And it takes the whole church. It's not just one group. It's not just one group. It's the whole church. And so thank you, church. I enjoyed myself. I do want to give this testimony, and I'm going to do it discreetly. If you feel like we need to be more detailed later, that's fine. But somebody, because I was going to ask you, and I forgot to ask you. But anyway, I'm asking you here in public. But somebody testified this week, a visitor, that they just needed to be loved. And they said, I have been loved this week by Oak Crest. There's no place like Oak Crest. And I said, what a wonderful testimony for Oak Crest Baptist Church. Thank you, Lord, for the love. And then I want to thank the Lord that he let me come. Thank you, Lord, let me come and attend. I didn't miss, I laid low up in the mornings and in the afternoons. I didn't miss one service, not one thing, because YouTube was just wonderful. So I want to thank the Lord for YouTube. And then saved all my strength. Preacher told me it'd be best if I saved everything for night services. So I want to thank the Lord for the good advice. I want to thank the Lord for fellowship that was so very good. Sitting with, I don't think I can remember ever sitting and fellowshipping and it being so good in such a long time, because I'm pulled in so many directions. Usually at camp time, I've got 1,000 people asking me questions, or I have to go do this or this or this or this. But instead, all of y'all did all that, and I just sat in fellowship. So thank you, church. Thank you. I enjoyed my fellowship, and it's because of y'all, and I thank you for it. And then thank the Lord for answered prayers during camp. We were praying for some things, and the Lord's bringing them to pass. Thank you. The hostesses were wonderful, just so sweet, and always right on top of things, and on top of me constantly. Can we get you? So I want to thank the Lord for the hostesses. They did a really good job. Always a good attitude, too. I don't think I saw one sour face. I saw some eyes closing, but I didn't see any sour faces. And then I thank the Lord for our cooks. The meals were just wonderful. And I was telling them today that Friday night's meal, if you were to go to the most expensive restaurant in Memphis, you could not get the quality and the good taste that we had Friday night's meal. I want to thank the Lord for it. And also there's love all in that food, so that makes it taste better. I want to thank the Lord for all the crew that cleaned before, during, and now after camp. There's different crews cleaning. And all during camp, there's so much that goes on in here, in the dorms and so forth. Thank you for everybody that keeps it looking good and smelling good. You may think you're not seen. I mean, you're not seen at all because you're doing it when people are not in here or in there or over yonder. But what is seen is how it looks and how it smells. And it's a wonderful testimony. Then I want to thank the Lord. Let's see, even tonight. Today I did nothing. I did nothing all day, and people were working like crazy over in the dining hall, working over here, working in the dorms. All I had to do was eat. That's it. And I want to thank y'all. Thank you. I feel like a moocher, or what do you call a bum, but I'm following instructions. But thank y'all. I appreciate it. And then want to thank the Lord for God using our preacher during camp. Wonderful preaching that our preacher did. And the great singing and playing. We have the best singers and players in the world. And then I want to thank my husband for something that a lot of people don't know about, but he deserves a medal for a major problem cleanup job that happened during camp. And a lot of people couldn't do that kind of thing, and he did it, and I want to thank the Lord. And if you want to know what it is, I'll tell you later, and you could go hug him for doing it too. You didn't have to do it. It's wonderful. And then I wanted to do a little something for Sister Rachel. She's really pushing it during camp. And I wanted to do something, but I can't do anything. I can't drive. I can't go get anything or anything. So I thank Sister Olivia and the ladies, the hostesses that kicked in, and they had a special table just for Sister Rachel, and everything but a foot rub. Sister Olivia said, I don't think she'll appreciate a foot rub. So she did everything but the foot rub. And so I was very thankful for them doing that. And then the Lord holding off sickness mainly during camp. I think Sister Esther got the head cold thing, I think. Yeah. But the stomach virus, we didn't have that in the church. Thank you, Lord. And he held off. All of our singers were here, and all of our workers were here. Consider the weeks we had up before coming up to camp. I mean, it would have been terrible if camp was there. So thank the Lord for that. And then we're going to have to get a set of dorm rules for Brother Spicer's dorm because the men kept waking him up from his nap. He said he enjoyed them, but they kept waking him up. I said, we will put some dorm rules up next time. But thank the Lord for Brother Spicer's dorm. Those men just love staying there. And then, what's this here? Where was I at? Don't know. Shock Kings. Oh, yeah, Sister Barbara. I really enjoyed fellowshipping with her this time. And she just kept saying, I came excited and I came happy, but now I'm even happier. So she had a good time. This has been such a great camp meeting. She just kept going on and on. There's not many people here, but it's been a great camp meeting. So thank the Lord for Miss Barbara getting a good touch. And Sister Ann did too. She got a good touch. And Brother Plato did too. He did too. Then I want to thank the Lord for the testimony of our children, all the way up to our young people. That Filipino, I don't know how many people heard Brother Michael say that he was watching our little ones all the way up. And he said, I want to go back to my church and I want to do this. And he watches y'all. Y'all may think, well, I'm just doing that. No. There are people watching you, everything you're doing. If you're having a good time, if you're doing a good job, so they're watching. And he said this. He said they're having a good time. He said they're enjoying it. So thank you, young people, little peoples, big peoples. It was a wonderful testimony. And then I want to thank the Lord for the double blessing that the other Filipino got. Brother Roman, he was the driver that drove Brother Michael here. Brother Roman was not supposed to come. And then Brother Melvin, I think, talked Brother Michael into coming, but Brother Michael didn't have a ride. So he got Brother Roman to bring him. Well, we've watched it. Every time there's a driver, they get double blessed. And he got not only the offering everybody else got, but he got that extra offering for the year from Brother Boatner's church, Brother Boatner's church. So I thank the Lord for that too. Lots and lots more, but I think I got mine in. Love you, church.
About to bust all that food. Anyway, I want to thank the Lord for a good camp meeting, even though that we had a pretty slim crowd. It was still off a good camp meeting. And as far as the preaching, two of them stood out for me. Brother Shepherd on prayer, that was really, really good. And the one that Brother Shock preached last night on blessed man and the ungodly man, that was a very powerful message. I really loved that message, appreciate that message. And as far as the food, it's always good, and Michael did it again. And I think 2 weeks before the camp meeting, up until a day before camp meeting, I had lost almost 17 pounds. But when I weighed last night, I gained over half of it back. So darling, I promise you, I'm going to get back in the groove. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe for sure Monday. But anyway, I want to testify about the house over here. I think most of you know that we finally closed on the house. We got the house. I want to thank the Lord for that. And two, most of you know about the pipes busting and freezing, and it done some damage over the house. And we took a look at it and made another offer to the guy. Wanted to come down, I I think $5,000 because of the damage, and he wouldn't come down maybe by half of that. Was that right? Something like by half of it. And then I told Lord if he would come down, we stuck to what we wanted to give. If him knock off $5,000, I didn't think he would, but he did come down part of it, but he wouldn't do the other part. Then we texted him back, told him that all he was going to do was a certain amount of money, so he did wind up coming down $5,000 more. And I told Lord I'll run 2 laps if he would come down that much, so I'm going to run my 2 laps.
Ain't God good to give us so many blessings? Kindness, that's how He is.
We've got to
Thank Him, love and praise Him. A little more today, a whole lot more tomorrow. Journeyed in the wilderness, searching for Canaan, that blessed promised land. They never went too hungry or never got too thirsty, but the more that God kept blessing them, the more they would complain. Ain't God good? Ain't God good to give us so many blessings?
Full of
kindness, that's how He is.
got to
thank Him, love and praise Him. A little more today, a whole lot more tomorrow. In the time that we live, so many are unthankful, and many more they fail to see that God has given all. So brother, look around you now and thank our Heavenly Father. Blessings He will rain down on those who praise His name.
Ain't God good?
Ain't God good to give us so many blessings?
full of
Kindness, that's how He is.
We've got to
Thank Him, love and praise Him. A little more today, a whole lot more tomorrow.
Ain't God good?
Ain't God good to give us so many blessings?
full of
Kindness, that's how He is.
We've got to
Thank Him, love and praise Him.
little more today.
Little more today.
Little more today.
a whole lot more tomorrow.
last week, we got an update on my grandfather. A PET scan came back, and the tumor has shrunk. 3 of the tumors are gone, and so it looks like, of course, it's only been 3 weeks or so of chemo, but it looks like it's working out. So I want to praise the Lord for that.
That was a good run, Matthew. I didn't do it right, preacher. Oh, underneath. Anyway, I don't know how to do that thing, but thank you, preacher. There's several people that got off during camp meeting, but one of the ones I saw around much, it was a blessing, was Brother Jim. And, it was good. And I said, I hope your boss lets you off next time too. And I think he really enjoyed fellowshipping with the preachers and things, and it was just really good to watch him. Also, there were some more people that got off. Y'all know who all you are, but some of them that stands out, I was thinking about Miss Patsy. She didn't have to go in and asked off. And she always likes to go in the dorm early, be the dorm mom. And I was thinking, I was glad that she had already retired and she didn't have to worry about this camp meeting being off. Then Sister Polly, she took off the whole week. So early on, that was a blessing, sister, and she was here. She took advantage. And then Sister Jan, she even ended up, she got 2 days off, and she added a personal day. And when she went into her boss says, well, I normally don't get in people's business, but you must be planning something big to take a personal a personal day this close to the beginning of a year. Most time people wait till the end. She said, I don't mind telling you. And she got to tell him about camp meeting. He said, well, good. You know, he was proud of that, but that's kind of unheard of. I want to thank the Lord for that. And then Miss Rachel, they had her come in the kitchen one day, and she was making the topping for those crescent rolls. Oh, thank you, Miss Rachel. Yes, I think that had to be one of the preachers. He mentioned it, and a lot of us' favorite thing. So that was a blessing, and just the Lord helping her this week. And then Sister Irene, she's always, you never know where she's at and what she's doing. And she's always in behind the scenes, and she helped me tremendously this week. And I always knew when she had been around. I want to thank the Lord for her. Then Walter and Crystal, that was just such a blessing because, at first he sent Brother Jay a text that he was going to have to work because he's been off work so much. And so he sent him a text at the beginning of the week, preacher, I'm not going to get to make it and so forth. And wow, did they get to make it? And I want to thank the Lord. They're such a blessing. And then the kids hated it so bad, they ended up, I think, on Thursday, going early to pick them up for school. Took them taco soup. They come back. Then Friday they just took them out of school completely, and they just stayed all day long. They were in the kitchen helping, and I want to thank the Lord for them. That's such a blessing. And all right. Sister Barbara, when she was leaving this morning, was talking to me and Debbie as she was going out the door, and she said, well, I just want to apologize for talking so much. And my eyes got big. I just have enjoyed her fellowship, and I thought, well, she said, you might have thought I was lecturing you. And I said, no, ma'am, I think that was testifying. And she said, well, those are golden nuggets that are good. And she was just sharing them, and they were good. And I enjoyed being with her. I want to thank the Lord that mentioned Brother Shock's preaching this week, and then him starting out. What a great God. That's our God, and I don't have that quite right, the title. And then the message last night was tremendous.
And I just want to thank the Lord for that. And then I had prayed a prayer during the service. And I told the Lord, if you will answer that, I will run a lap. So I just ran my lap just a minute ago. I added that one. So I want to thank the Lord for answering prayer and just quickly. And I want to thank the Lord for that. And, oh, goodness. Also, our preacher, one of the Filipinos mentioned his message that he had preached, A Fit Man. And I loved how that worked with Brother Treg, his hearing aid, and doing that offering, and how all that, brother, I know you probably thought, what a time is that, but it all worked out for good. And Brother Jay just hopped right up there and preached, and it was so good. And I just want to thank the Lord for him. And also we had lay preaching, that was good, about the marvel. And then our teacher got to preach and share just about being full of God and so forth. That was just real good. I just want to thank the Lord for all the preaching. And then Brother Ronnie, his message on who is the wise man. And, woo, that was good, too. I just enjoyed all the camp meeting. I know y'all did, too. But the 5-minute preaching, I don't know if all of you got in on it, but I know a lot of you will go back this week, especially the kitchen workers, and they're going to be watching all the camp meeting this week because we got it on YouTube. Thank the Lord. And but anyway, the 5-minute preaching, it was so funny. He had somebody up there different doing the 5-minute. Who was that? But anyways, I think it was Brother Jim was up there. But anyway, Brother Jay was volunteering those Filipino people. And when they got up there, one of them said, thank you for volunteering me. So anyway, that was good. And the singing, y'all, I so enjoyed the singing. It was so sweet. It was just like y'all were up there on the stage, and it was just like sweetness was coming over the congregation, and it was just so sweet. And that living waters, I can't do it. Where's David? That was so good. I enjoyed that. And then little Bella, thank you for testifying just then and running. You've already spoiled us. And I've been thinking on what you just surprised Daddy and Mama and everybody. And I thought, now we got to have more of that. So you better be working on your next song. And I was thinking about that. And then Sean on the cornet, is that what you call it? Clarinet. Sean, that was great. I enjoyed that. I think everybody else did. And I love the people saying, I want to teach my children that. When you go back, I thought, that's so wonderful to worship the Lord with instrument. So that was wonderful. On Friday, Nicholas went and bought some of the helpers from Starbucks, and he added his grandmother in there. I wanted to say thank you for that. And I was included on that. Then Allie, yesterday morning, I come in for breakfast, and she was serving me, and she said, Grandma, this is the last breakfast of camp meeting. But somebody, I think it was Miss Becky, talked about the hostesses. They enjoy their job, and they like it. They put their heart into it, and that's just amazing. I want to thank the Lord for Miss Pam and everybody in that kitchen. I know Sister Sandy was in there helping, but I don't know. I just thank the Lord for her, and I think her and Brother Trey got up early this morning, had breakfast ready for the missionaries to leave, and then lunch, Miss Polly come in, and then supper. Anyway, just thank y'all. Thank your Fowler family, and for all the kitchen crew. I think everybody said that. And the food was outstanding, and I agree with Sister Becky on all that love and that food. And, and I heard a testimony about the kitchen. I went by this person, the person stopped me, and they said, it was so good in the kitchen, just such a sweet spirit. Heard y'all had a lot of fun, and I love to hear stuff like that. I want to thank the Lord for that. But one of the highlights to me of the whole camp meeting was Brother Plato and Miss Ann. And they sat behind me, and every few minutes, Brother Plato, and you know how scared I get when somebody comes up on me, and so there he is right there in my face. Who is that? Now, which one's that? Now, who do they belong to? So he's trying to tell me, saying he forgets halfway through. Then he comes back, oh, I forgot about that one. Now, what that? So I've got to tell him twice. But anyway, we were really wanting God to call people in that he wanted at this camp meeting. And I do believe he did that. They didn't decide to come till late that night, didn't quit packing till like 12:30, got on the road, was it 5 o'clock, y'all? They said 5 that morning. And how many hours, preacher, does it take to get here? It's 700 miles. She said when she got out of the car, her toes, she couldn't hardly walk on them. They wouldn't hardly bend. But I just thank God for blessing them. Oh, my goodness. And I was thinking of if the Lord didn't show up and bless the music, bless the food, and the services, it just wouldn't be worth it. And he's just, oh, thank you, Lord. You did great. And I want to thank the Lord for them. And then Sister Polly, I love this, her beating them. There was new people that took over. And she had to go out there and meet them, but in the meantime, she paid for their room. And they usually pay for their room. So I want to thank the Lord that we got to pay for the room this time. And, when Brother Plato, he wanted to make sure, of course he testified, but he wanted to make sure. Now he kept asking me, now you know that I don't just do things like this. You remember when he got up about Greg and so forth? Well, he said when they brought out the cake to Greg, the Lord spoke to him to do exactly what he did. And I want to thank the Lord for that. And I was thinking it meant so much to Greg. I got to talk to him after services. And he won't forget this birthday because of what Brother Plato done. And I stood there and I told Brother Plato, of course, he's Brother Jay's son for sure. But I've got to share him as a son-in-law all these, I forget how long they've been married, but a good while. And he's never gave me a minute's trouble. He's been such a blessing. And me and Rodney just love him very dearly. And I just want to thank the Lord for Greg. And let's see. Well, I think that's it. Thank y'all. Love you, church.
Okay, I came here a second time. I want to thank the Lord for the fellas fixing my breakfast plate every morning. They loaded it up with grits. That's heavenly manna also. Grits. Thank you, fellas, for that. And then I heard that there were so many in the kitchen that they really have more workers than they needed. And I got to thinking, what kitchen in America do you go to and there's loaded with fellas? Not girls, but fellas. And that's most unusual. So I want to thank the Lord for our fellas all wanting to cook, all wanting to help. Thank the Lord for that. And then I want to thank the Lord for Miss Sandy Boatner, Sister Sandy. Last camp, she was in tears and crying because she said she just couldn't go. She couldn't do. She couldn't help. This camp, she was all over the place. I mean, here she goes, zip, 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 zip. And I think the Sister Pam said, you got to kind of hold her back. She's just gung-ho. And she got to sing also. Yes, several songs. And then her brother Randall were both here. So I want to thank the Lord for that. And that was wonderful. And he got to preach too. That's our evangelist. And then we got to give the CDs. Thank the Lord for the CDs. We got to give a whole set to each Filipino. And we got to give, I gave a set to, yes, Crystal. I turned, the fellows were getting all theirs, and I turned, and there she was, and I said, Crystal, do y'all have a set of these CDs? She said, oh, no, we're thinking about getting them, sometime. So I packed them up. I said, this is a new member gift package. And I said, here you go. And she was so excited. She said, I got new music to listen to. So thank the Lord for the CDs. And then I told Miss Barbara, I asked her, I said, which CD did have y'all worn out? He said they wore out a CD. She said, oh, somebody's already replaced it. Don't worry about it. I mean, I couldn't even get to it. Somebody else already got to it. So thank you, church. Everybody's watching and listening. And then Brother Mike Saunders. I don't know if y'all got to hear him in the morning sing. Not the snake song, but all the other songs. This is my personal opinion, not the snake song. But all those other songs, he likes the snake song. Anyway, they were just, I can't imagine having this camp without him. And the mornings, it just made it so happy, and his songs were sweet, and even the fun songs, they had truth all in it, just all in it. Anyway, I told Sister Pam, I said, I sure hope the school, if they can learn that long, whatever, what's that song, long song anyway, down in school, that class, whatever, yeah, which is an excellent way of learning. But anyway, if they could do that, then they can learn this song about the Bible and about the King James Bible. Anyway, it was really, really good. So thank the Lord for Brother Mike Saunders. And we gave him a set. I don't know if I said that. And then Sister Barbara, I don't know how many people knew it, she brought bags and bags of clothes from her and from her daughter, right? Her daughter was going to take them to the Goodwill, and she said, no. She said, Oakcrest would love these. She said, oh, Mom, they're not going to like want my clothes. She said, no, I'm telling you, Oakcrest would love these. So all during camp, she was just tickled to death. From the young people wearing some of her boots to wearing scarves to the old ladies wearing some of the other stuff. And then even some of the skirts, though. I mean, she goes, there goes my skirt. And then she said, oh, there goes my scarf. There's my boots. There's my necklace. She really enjoyed that. And I told her, I said, you know, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So that's why she got so happy this camp. She gave. And then I want to thank the Lord for Sister Hannah. She made some CD copies for Brother Plato, and she also gave them instructions how to get on YouTube. They didn't know how to get on YouTube for Oakcrest, so they're really looking forward to that. And then, of course, this should have been first. I can't believe I didn't have it first on my list. The office workers. That's the job that I can really feel for. Thank the Lord. For Sister Rachel, Sister Victoria, and I don't know if anybody got in there and helped y'all during the camp time. Am I missing somebody? Did anybody count coins? Did you get in there? And Tabitha got in there. So thank y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. When the offering was going on, and here comes, is it Marshall that had the jar? And he starts, and I poured them in there. I texted Sister Victoria. I said, here come the coins. That's one of the hardest things, a load of coins that you got to count after camp meeting. So thank the Lord for our office workers too. And thank the Lord we got to give good offerings to every, in fact, I have never known us to do like this. Anyway, I want to thank you, Lord. Every preacher got a big, big blessing. Thank you.
Got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart.
Passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got that peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. And I'm so
happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I have the love of Jesus in my heart, in my heart.
First off, I want to thank the Lord I got to be here this camp meeting. Was able to, he granted the desires of my heart just to be here. And then I think I got to complete almost all of my normal jobs except for 2. And Miss Sarah took over that, and she did such a good job with doing all the running. And thank you, Miss Polly, for helping on Monday when I couldn't do the big loads. And then also at night I used to be able to stay with Miss Polly, and Joanna and Jesse started helping Miss Polly with that, and that was huge because that's one thing that I was praying for, was she needed some more help. So I wanted to thank the Lord for that. And then Levi, this is the first time he's been off in at least 3 camp meetings, and it was a huge blessing to me. I used him a lot. That's what his work was. He had my babies, and he really was a huge help to me, and I want to thank the Lord for him. And then everything seemed to be pretty smooth. It felt like every day I was living it like I'm not going to see y'all the next day, so I was trying to just keep busy, and it was just huge watching everybody. And I really loved it seemed like everybody grew a foot, though. I didn't care for that too much. Every time the boys were in there, it was like towering. I want to thank the Lord for all of y'all working so hard and just getting to enjoy the camp meeting. And then Friday night, I'm never telling Miss Becky how I really feel again. She was sweet. She was texting me, and I was telling her how I was feeling. And she surprised me, and Olivia and Sarah surprised me with just a sweet little dinner. And I want to thank the Lord for them just being so sweet to me and just having a great camp meeting. I love you, church. And I'm sorry about the dumpster. They said they were coming Friday. I'm sorry. But I'll call again and see if we can't get a pickup real soon.
If they don't come tomorrow, you know, they came a few Sundays ago. If they don't,
did.
then Monday you say, it's okay that you didn't come Friday. Come regular time, Tuesday night.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'll tell them. I love you, church. Oh, yes, the flowers. I loved the flowers that she did. And, ma'am? Oh, Miss Madeline did the flowers, and she did a great job. And since I do the books and I saw the receipt, I was very pleased with the prices she did too. I was like, oh wow, okay, great. So I'm very pleased with everything. So love you, church.
promise me protected I will be.
I know I'll sail away home. I'll sail away. I'll leave this world behind. I'll sail away. To heaven I will climb. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday by and by,
Twinkle of an eye,
I know I'll sail away home.
it may be night or noon, it may be real soon. He'll come like a thief in the night. He'll come with all his power, it could be any hour.
When I take my final flight, I'll sail away with ease faster than any breeze or an astronaut, you know.
The time is very near, soon Jesus will appear.
And then I'll sail away home. I'll sail away. I'll leave this world behind. I'll sail away. To heaven I will climb. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday by and by,
Twinkle of an eye,
I know I'll sail away home. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday by and by,
in a twinkle of an eye.
I know I'll sail away home.
I'm surprised we're not having more Thanksgivings. It's just a little past 8. We got room for one more. Somebody wants to say something.
Well, this is very out of order, so there will be no smooth transitions. We might start at Friday and move back to Tuesday. I wrote it when I remembered it, so the first thing I have is I want to thank Nick for getting all the Starbucks. That is a very rare thing for me, and I know that it is not cheap, especially when you get that many. And he also said he had to do individual transactions for each one, so that probably took a very long time. So thank you, Nick. And I did not spill or break anything again. So it's sad how many claps that got. And if I don't thank the Lord, I'm afraid I'm going to break something next camp meeting. So I'm going to thank him. And also that I had a good offering to give. It feels very good to have a good amount. And also that I got to hostess. I cannot speak English. I still love my job, and I want to thank Olivia and Tori for putting up with me. I'm very awkward and clumsy and interesting, especially in the mornings when everyone's dead and I'm just like, hey guys, good morning. So I want to thank them for putting up with me, and that I was not nervous when I sang. That is huge for me. And also that I got to sing every day, I think, and I really enjoy singing, so I'm very glad I got to. And that my dad got to be there some. It was not a lot, but I do want to thank the Lord that it was some. And that Aunt Rachel got to be there. It was good to see her. And for the food, it was very good. There was not one meal I did not enjoy. I ate too much every time, so thank Michael and the cooks, and yeah.
I have to back up a week because I forgot to come up here last week before we started camp meeting. So, yeah, that's what it was. I was going down the street here after Saturday night, I believe, and I was low on gas. But the thing didn't tell me I was low. Usually it dings, and then I know it's low. So I just saw it, and I was like, oh, no, it's red. So I told my dad, I said, pray I get to Kroger. I said, I don't think I'll be able to make it. So I put it in third gear and just kind of slowed my way, down to Kroger. I didn't try to push gas or anything. So I was going down, and then it started stopping, and I pulled over because I thought, I was right in the middle. I was like, oh no, I looked really weird in the car, but I raised my hands. I was like, oh Lord, I said, I'll run a lap if you help me just get to Kroger. I really didn't want to get didn't want to get pulled outside the road. It's a bad neighborhood, so I pulled down the Kroger. I got there, and it started back up again. I started it up, and it started just back up again, just fine. And the gas thing went all the way from red 2 bars up. I said, I've never heard of that in my life. I've never done that to me ever. I told my dad, I said, is that normal? He said, no. So I got to Kroger, and I said, I want to fill this thing up. I said, so I put the gas thing in there, and I filled it up. I filled it up. He said, what gas? I said, 93, and I need it right now. So I put it in there, and I filled it up. So I told the Lord I'd run a lap, so I ran a lap for that. And then earlier today, I went to buy my dad a birthday present. He had a birthday during camp meeting. I didn't get to get him anything. So I went by the mall today and got him something. And I set the card down. I set my Regions Bank card down on the table, and I didn't even know. And so I left, and I went down the road here to the store to get something. And I was going to pay for it. I reached out, and I said, it's not there. And they said, well, and I said, that's a problem. And I said, yeah, that's a problem. So I had someone with me, so they were trying to call the places that we were at, and none of them said that they had a lost and found. So I went to this one place we went to, and it was a long shot. This one guy sitting in a stand in the mall. It's a phone case thing, and I went by there to look at something, and I said, do you by any chance have a Regions Bank card? And he pulled it out, and I gave that man a hug. It looked very weird. I think I scared the living daylights out of the guy, but I gave him a hug, and he looked at me like this, like I was some crazy man. But I told him, I said, I will tell everyone about this store, and they will come buy everything. I have a lot of friends. I told him, so if you want to go buy a store, he's like in the middle of the mall by a finish line. So if you want to go pay him a visit and pay him or do something, give him a hug. I don't know, but yeah. So he was real creeped out. I felt real bad, but I told him, I said, I just really wanted this card back. I said it would have been a big ordeal to try to get it replaced, and yeah. So thank the Lord for that, and then. I think there was one more thing. My boss didn't let me off for any of camp. He was in the first place. He was going to have me work full time for the whole week. But I talked to him, pushed a little bit, and I got half a day for Wednesday, Thursday, and then I got a full day on Friday. So I thank the Lord for that. And then I think that's. And then we have 3 new people starting at our work, which is good because we were real low on people. And so we have 3 new people, and they're still busy. My boss came to me. He said that is not like us. He said we are usually very slow. He said we get 1 trailer a month. He says we're getting 18 per 2 weeks. He said that is very unlikely. So thank the Lord for that. And then I showed them Finney's preaching video, and they got a kick out of that. They loved it. They said, "Man, Finney's a preacher," and I said, yeah, he does pretty good, doesn't he? He said, I could tell he was nervous, but he's real good. But yeah, they got a kick out of that. And then I showed it to my boss, and he's sitting there like, and he kind of looks at it, and he's like, so he goes, how often does Finney preach? I said, well, he's a layman at our church. He preaches every once in a while. He says, yeah, I could tell that. He said, but he's pretty good. Tell him I said he's pretty good. He could preach it. So they enjoyed that. And I showed a couple other people around the work, and they said, Finney got to a point where he said, I was hard-headed. And one of our coworkers said, yeah, we already knew that, Finney. But that was so funny. He don't really speak, so for him to say that was pretty funny. But yeah, that's. Thank the Lord for that. And I tried inviting one of my coworkers to come. He didn't get to come, but he said he would like to come during the future, so he can get some time off. He said next camp meeting, he says I brought him some bacon. I had some bacon I brought from breakfast, and he ate some. He goes, my goodness. He said that hit the spot. He said I'm gonna start cooking breakfast food now. He said that was so good. He said who cooked that? I said my uncle. He's the chef at our church, and he said tell him he is a #1 chef, and I'm gonna go there and have him cook a meal for me for my birthday. I said he'll probably have to charge you, but I guess you could work something out. But yeah, he said he's gonna try to come this July, so hopefully he can make it. But thank the Lord for everything, and I think that's it. But yes, thank you. Oh yeah, run my lap. Yes.
Yeah, the way Mid-South works, if they find out you can do something, if they need that particular thing done, they will call on you. So if they ever need a preacher, they might be calling.
I want to thank Miss Julie for making all of our new aprons. And I think there's a couple I think that said, well, I didn't get an apron, I didn't get an apron. But she started way before camp meeting, keeping asking, does anybody need an apron? So if you need an apron, just be sure to tell her before camp meeting. And I just want to thank the Lord for her sacrifice on that. And then I've heard different testimonies about the offerings. Miss Sandy, testified about her offering and giving, and that was a really good testimony. And I've heard that, but it's been a while, and that was I really enjoyed that. And then also I heard about somebody giving away their grocery money, and the Lord turning around and blessing them. So I want to thank the Lord for that, because Oakcrest likes to give, and I love to hear stuff like that, and I want to thank the Lord for those.
Well, I want to thank the Lord I had a door full. Wasn't nobody there but me. I was the only one. I went to bed that first night and I thought, I got 9 beds. And I started praying, Lord, send 9, but nobody come in. But I thank the Lord that He took care of me. I wasn't scared. I go in there at night. I'm going to stay there tonight. I go in there and lock the door, and just like I got a door full. And I'm one of them that got some of the things. Well, in fact, I got several. I think I got 4 skirts that was in those bags that Miss Shock bought. In fact, this is one of them. And I thank the Lord, and there was some jewelry in it. I got it. It seemed like there was something else. I don't remember what. Anyway, I got several things is what I'm saying. I'm not, not bragging, but a lot of them was large, and all y'all are little people. They wouldn't fit y'all. So they were large, and I got the large things. And, I want to say something else. I want to thank Sister Jeannie for working and putting our albums together. That is bound to take work. I don't know how many hours it takes to put one of those albums together. And I was sitting at the table fellowshipping with her last night. And how many hours did you tell me it took to just make the pictures, or how many pictures you make? 1,500 pictures. I'd go crazy. Now, I can take notes, but now when it comes to taking pictures, that's her job. My job's in the dorm. And maybe in July, maybe probably in July, we'll have to say where we're going to put everybody. I hope so, because I want some company.
I forgot one more thing. My mom was going to leave. I can't remember what day it was, but she brought Scarlett into the car. The little diva. She brought her into the car, and she sat her down on the passenger seat. They were going over for camp meeting. I think it was Wednesday, but apparently she left the key lock in the car with Scarlett, and when she came back to open the door, Scarlett had locked her out of her car, and she said, Scarlett, she was doing on the window, she was laughing, and she was doing this. And she was waving the key ring around. Finally she got to where, she pushed unlock. She's smart. She saw the lock and she pushed it. And then she pushed unlock and she got in there. She said, Scarlett, what'd you do that for? And she went, started laughing. But thank the Lord she got back in her car.
Thank the Lord that I got to give an offering.
I want to thank the Lord for a good camp meeting. Nobody lost an eye, nobody lost a toe. We're all good. Thank the Lord for a good camp meeting. thank the Lord I got to give this camp meeting. I want to thank the Lord that I was able to help in the washroom once again, and I want to thank Him also for letting me give an offering.
I have to testify as I remember things, but the washroom at one point in time, I looked in there, it was just about 90% of our young people working in there. So thank the Lord for that. Everything went good. No one got hurt, so appreciate that. And thank the Lord for a blessing to that we received during camp meeting. Just before camp meeting, we made our house payment, and there were some more bills we needed to pay, and that got answered during camp meeting. Rhonda received a $216 check, I think, in the mail from a doctor's office. So that makes about 3 or 4 checks we've gotten in the recent days from doctor's offices. So thank the Lord. Appreciate that. That helped pay some bills. And, me and my boss worked out something. I said, because I know they were going to be short-handed because we had someone to leave and go somewhere else. I told him I could either take the whole week of vacation, which a lot of times I do, or I can come in and work a half a day Monday and Tuesday, because I said I got some wood sales I need to get out before we get into camp meeting. So he agreed to that. So I appreciate them working with me, and I appreciate them working with Nick. And Nick right now is basically the low man on the totem pole, and anyway, thank the Lord that they work with him. I appreciate that. And he would, I don't know if you know that, he would come by in the morning early and come over here and help up until the time he'd have to leave. So I appreciate that. And then, trying to think. Thank the Lord for the plexus. I got hooked up with that through Kim, Adam's wife. She's selling the plexus, and I thought I'd just take it and try it. But thank the Lord for that. It came out a perfect time. If it doesn't do anything else for your body, it gives you energy. So thank the Lord for that. And I was getting up early in the mornings. And another thing, too, thank the Lord when I got over here in the mornings, I stayed all day long until we went home at night. And I had runners. Normally I had to go home, and Rhonda does do good early in the mornings, but Nate and Paul and Joe both would run food back and forth so I could keep doing what I do over here. So I appreciate them doing that for me. And Brother Roman, his testimony, I don't know how many heard that, but his efforts to get over here when he went to get his passport, it was a very sad situation. But I want to thank the Lord that the Lord blessed that and granted him his visa and all that, passport to get over here. And then he came to the right church. God got him to Oakcrest, and it was just a blessing to see him being blessed. So I appreciate that, and love the preaching message. Brother Plato Shepherd preached on prayer, and that was just enlightening and encouraging to pray more and all that. So appreciate that, and all I can remember now at the moment. So, but anyway, love you, church. Oh, the shocks. You're talking about the clothing. Rhonda got some clothes from them, and I know it's probably, I guess it's mostly lady clothes, but there was a pair of pants in there, and that come from Brother Shock's son-in-law, his son-in-law, and I told him that, and Sister, what's her name? Barbara. Miss Shock, she was so excited that I got to wear those pants. So thank the Lord for the blessing there. Appreciate that. And thank the Lord for a great camp meeting.
I forgot something, too. I was like, Nick, I forgot something. Y'all know Brother Jay preached on camp was it Sunday morning? He preached on camp. Well, y'all know me. I'll go home and look in my concordance and see. I did not realize how many times camp, C-A-M-P, is in the Bible. It's a bunch. I hadn't got started writing yet. I ain't had time. But it's 2 or 3 pages of it. I didn't realize count was in the Bible that much, but it's there.
I'll probably have a more detailed list later, but I want to thank the Lord for a wonderful camp meeting and that I got to give. I actually had money set aside this year, and sometimes I may have a few dollars, but this year I got to give some. Usually I have a whole bunch of money saved up, and then I give it all, and this year I was told I couldn't spend this certain amount of money no matter what. And I was, can I please spend it? Please? No. Please? No. I want to thank the Lord for lots of wisdom and strength. And I want to thank the Lord for Miss Pam and keeping the kitchen organized. Every morning when we would walk over there, she would tell us she would have a list ready for exactly what we needed to fix. And usually we just sit there for a couple minutes and wait till Mikey gets there. But I want to thank the Lord for Miss Pam. And I want to thank the Lord for Brother Jason and Sam Paul, because on the last day, Miss Pam told some people to take a rest for a while on the last day, but me and Gabe didn't get the memo. So we were there at 5 o'clock, and we saw the list and started getting things done. 30 minutes later, we started wondering if anyone would show up. An hour later, we were starting to panic because we had no clue what else to do. But I want to thank the Lord for Brother Jason and Sam Paul helping us, and I'm going to run a lap for that.
Brother Randall, by the way, their money is there for their plays they made Thursday night, and failed to give it to you Friday night or somebody. But they gave it. There it is. The money's there. Their word's good. Brother Randall said, well, I talked to Sean, said I want to book you for coming down to Mississippi. He said, well, I had to talk to Dad first. And then he said, but after a couple of days, he said, now I want to book the little one. Amen. Amen. Said she did good. All right. Thank you, Lord, for the blessings. They have been large and many. And we thank you that we've got good reports and expect more. And thank you for the healings and the folks that have been, Sister Esther and anyone else who've tried to get sick. We want them healed up. Pray you'll help them. And thank you for keeping that bad flu away from all of Oak Crest, and we thank you for that. We just want to say thank you. And so keep us in your eye, in the palm of your hand always. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, you're dismissed. God bless you.